Chairman Lewis, Vice Chairman Senator Warren, members of the committee. I'm Matthew D. Keenan. I'm Executive Director of Kansas Legal Services. We are a nonprofit law firm with 45 lawyers, 11 offices, and 140 additional staff. With me here is TK Shively. She's the Director of Grants Management. And we're here to talk about a truly magnificent success story at Kansas Legal Services that's been the product of your vision, your leadership, and that is these expungement clinics that you have funded. I have about 22 slides. I have 2 client videos that I'll show that I think you'll find informative of clients who've testified or told their story and how we help them. But this is, by any metric, by looking at the number of Kansans that we've helped, by looking at the number of attorneys that volunteer and help with these clinics, by looking at the geography of where these clinics have been held, by looking at the economic impact of these Kansans who have these criminal matters sealed, this is a true success story that we are asking the legislature, and I understand this is not a funding committee, but we're going to be asking the legislature to renew that funding, which is $200,000, and to supplement it so that we might be able to do driver's license advocacy as part of the advocacy that we do for expungements. So we've had 2 years, about 1,200 Kansans, 20 clinics, about 50 volunteer attorneys, and 3 corporate partners have assisted at this in these clinics. I'm talking about T-Mobile in Olathe, I'm talking about Coke in Wichita, and I'm talking about Cargill in Wichita. They send their attorneys, we train their attorneys. The time that the attorneys are at the clinics, they're covered by our malpractice, and when they leave the clinic, their obligations are done, and any follow-up is done by the KLS attorneys. We have 2 full-time attorneys at KLS whose full-time job are working on expungement clinics. So with that high-level overview, I will go through a couple quick slides, and then I'll show a video of a client we helped that I think is very compelling. So this is the ask. We want to have the funding renewed, and it's important to emphasize that the $200,000 we're talking about is not part of the Department of Justice or the judicial branch funding. This is funding that has to be added to the budget, and Representative Turk knows this. This was added through his leadership with the House Appropriations Subcommittee, TK, on government budget. So we're asking that it be renewed, and the consideration of the House and Senate to add additional funding for driver's license clinics. I want you to hear this gentleman who gave us this testimony. We helped him at a clinic in Kansas City, Kansas.
The Kansas Legal Service clinic I attended was an expungement clinic. It was in Kansas City at the library. So I got my record expunged, and just a bit about my story is I was a drug addict for 23 years of my life, and went through some really hard times. And so I got clean about 11 years ago. In fact, 11 years ago next month. And through that process, as I moved forward, I graduated, got my license back, I graduated college, got a master's degree. And I saw the expungement. I had some friends that had been through the expungement process, and then me and my wife saw it on Facebook, and so we signed up and we drove down there. And so it's, I had not an extensive record, but I had some felonies on my record, and so we went there and they got rid of those for me. And so it's just. It's a good feeling to know that, I have a clean slate. One of the biggest blessings of the whole thing is that my wife also got her record expunged. And so, and she's going to move into the teaching field. And so that helped, helped it so there wouldn't be anything to hinder the process. And so it's been a joy to see her know that her record's clean too, and just to know that, I mean, we both have came out of a pretty hardcore lifestyle, and so just to know that all that stuff's put officially, legally put behind us, it's a good feeling. I believe it's a great blessing that this is available for people. There are a couple people I've shared the information how to move forward on the process on their own, and of course I shared on social media my success through the whole process, and so that inspired other people to want to get started on their own, and so I just am really thankful.
He's fairly typical of the people that we help. That clinic he came to was in Kansas City, Kansas, and we had about 150 people there. Our goal is to pre-screen these applicants because not everyone is going to be eligible for expungements, but we have a lot of walk-in clients, and it's really it's a real testament to the funding, the vision of the legislature, and the skills and tool set that our attorneys have to help them. So let's run through a few more slides, and I have another quick video I want to show. Talks a little bit about background of KLS. You're pretty familiar with that. Expungement is a sealing of the record. In these days, everyone does extensive background checks, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if a judge makes a determination that an expungement is appropriate, that record can be sealed. This is interesting. This is what's eligible and not eligible. A lot of people are misinformed, not candidates, but rather just the general public. And so the legislature in its wisdom has really struck a pretty good balance about what is eligible for expungement and what's not. And this is a pretty high-level summary. All expungements require a judge to approve it, and the judge needs to have demonstrated evidence that they've turned their life around, that they've fully discharged their sentence, and that they've waited an appropriate amount of time. Just a little bit about the funding history of this. It's pretty basic. Basically, we get the funding, we do the clinics, and we get the outcomes that I've shared with you today. One of the great things about this clinic, Chairman Lewis, I know you're from Garden City, is we go where the clients are. We take the clinics all over the state. You've probably heard a lot about the rural justice or the legal deserts around Kansas. KLS represents clients in all 105 counties. And I'm very confident in your district, legislative district, we have a number of clients we've helped. So we go all over the state. And what I would say to you, if this appeals to you and you want to have a clinic in your district, let me know and we'll try to make that happen. This is a map of the clinics. Application, you apply, you're evaluated, you attend the clinics. In most cases, we prepare all the pleadings and all the orders, and they have to go to court and have those signed and entered, but in some cases, we'll go with them. We believe that the clients need to have skin in the game and they need to have some responsibility themselves. Sometimes they don't go to court, but most of the time they do, and we're very happy to make that whole thing happen. There's a final video I want to share, and then I've got just a few other slides and we'll be done.
Chance to go back and erase a painful and criminal past.
And that's what was offered at the Johnson County, Kansas courthouse in Olathe. People signed up to get their former crimes cleared through an expungement clinic.
KBC 9's Krista Tatchell is getting answers on how these programs can change lives.
I came here to start my new life, get this felony off my record, and move on.
Darren, nice to meet you.
Among tables and attorneys working pro bono for Kansas Legal Services, Christina Dane is in joyous disbelief.
I just can't believe it's really happening.
She showed up at this expungement clinic where nonviolent, non-sex-related felonies can be cleared.
I was not registered, and I begged him to help me, and I said, I'll wait all day.
She went to jail for theft.
Having this felony theft on my back, I had a lot of years of addiction and opioids, and it took me down a really long road. And during that, though, I was given a beautiful little girl whom I'm trying to break this cycle of addiction with.
Gotta be all Kansas, obviously, right? Yeah.
For felons, a job is often hard to get.
I've had to work a lot of part-time jobs, sometimes 2 or 3, just to make ends meet. I'm sorry.
Clients who come to these clinics are carrying a lot of emotional baggage. and in some cases, they've been carrying it for most of their adult life.
I'm sorry, I'm not a religion pusher, but I love my God, and that's what got me through this. So, first, I'm going to get on my knees and pray and thank Him for today.
You're taking the steps that not a lot of people do, and you should be proud of yourself for that.
Yes.
It's bringing joy. It's bringing a brighter future.
Thank you so much.
A future toward which Dane now walks in hope.
Thank you.
Krista Tatchell, KMBC 9 News.
Around 40 people attended the clinic today, but these happen year-round across Kansas.
And you can find out more on how to sign up at the Kansas Legal Services website.
So this shows the stats for 2024. You see the discrepancy between clients served and cases submitted. Some clients have 2 criminal matters, some have 1, some have more than that. What you have to keep in mind is we can only obtain an expungement in the county where the crime was occurred. So that clinic we had in Johnson County, we can only expunge for purposes of that clinic, Johnson County offenses. Those are the counties that we had the clinics and the demographic breakdown. 2025, we've had even a larger statistical summary of the cases. The economic impact is pretty well demonstrated by peer review studies, anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 increase in wages for people that have had criminal matters expunged. I've talked already about the number of pro bono attorneys who come and volunteer and the corporate partners we have. Hours, more quantification of the impact we've had. And I got 2 stories and I'll be done. The first one is a lady who, Maya, who has demonstrably significantly better, higher paying jobs because of the expungements that we achieved for her. So that's a pretty powerful testimonial about how transformative this was in her individual life. This is Christina Dane, the woman that was profiled in the Channel 9 story you just saw. So she was hired as a property manager already as a result of the expungement, making $21 an hour, and she's confident with quarterly bonuses that she'll get up to $10,000 to $20,000 a year bonuses. Senator Warren came to our clinic in Olathe on October 23. That was a T-Mobile clinic. And then this was an expunger clinic we had in Abilene. You remember J.R. Clays was there. This is an interesting picture. I like to explain this to people. What you see here is you see clients who came to be served. You see judges. There's judges in this picture from Abilene. You have Senator Clays. This is a community of people that 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago might have been adverse to the clients coming to be expunged. So this is unusual in that you have a collaboration of a lot of interested parties who all share one goal, and that is to help these Kansans get second chances. So the ask is that we have the $200,000 renewed, and recognizing that these are Spartan times, we would like the legislature to consider adding that for driver's license restoration. I know Senator Fast-Goodow has been real involved in that. We've had a number of clinics for driver's licenses that have not been funded by the legislature, but we have had joint clinics. We've had clinics both with expungements and driver's license clinics that have been really successful, because oftentimes people who have trouble getting their license also have a need for expungements. So I think that's it, and that's concluded my remarks. And I appreciate your time, and I recognize that the focus here is on corrections and juvenile justice, but in so many ways, the people that we help are part of that community, are part of the former correctional community. And it's just wonderful to have the support of the legislature allow us to do these clinics. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Keenan. Are there any questions? Yes, Senator Fast-Goodow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Matt. So, first question, did you guys get to go to D.C. with Marilyn Harp. Marilyn Harp, who used to be the state director of Kansas Legal Services, thank God for Facebook, but I get the Active Age newspaper, and it had Marilyn receiving that national award for her work. And yeah, did you guys go?
Well, not to be the skunk at the garden party, but no, I was not there. But we had an instrumental part in her being nominated and recognized for that. Marilyn was my predecessor, and she served at Kansas Legal Services for 40 years. So I'm not worthy of her legacy, but I've carried it on. She received the foremost award in the country for pro bono advocacy. And yes, I'm glad you've mentioned that. Yeah, Marilyn has done a lot and continues to do a lot. So.
Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Keenan, for being here. And we don't want to forget, though, your long service and history in pro bono. When you were in private practice in the private sector as an attorney, you did a lot of pro bono work in the Kansas City area and probably other areas too. So it's nice to see you continue your own legacy of that pro bono work and bring it to Kansas Legal Services. And want to thank you for helping Kansans in that regard too.
Yes. Senator Moran helped me get nominated by President Trump, and I was confirmed by the Senate to be on the board of Legal Services Corporation, which is the umbrella organization for all the legal aid organizations. That was 4 years ago. That really prepared me for this job. I mean, the beauty of this advocacy that I tell so many people is this legal aid for the working poor is a true, rare, bipartisan initiative that both parties see the value of what we do. They both see the importance of giving working Kansans an opportunity to have an attorney for free, to have somebody they can counsel with, who can calm their nerves, who can reassure them, who can point them in the right direction. I told you we have about 23,000 Kansans that we helped last year in all counties. A lot of that is advice and counsel. A lot of that is simply reassuring them or pointing them in the right direction or telling them, in some cases, you're wasting your time. They need to hear that sometimes. We have these self-help clinics all throughout the state. So it's a combination of a lot of different things. But the bottom line is most people we help are living at or close to the poverty line. This clinic, expungement clinics I've just talked about, it is an exception to that. We will help anyone in Kansas, no matter what their income or circumstance, if they qualify. And we do have other initiatives like that that are not income-based qualification. So that's another reason why I think this is a very worthy cause that needs support from this body.
Representative Turk.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Keenan. Your leadership with this was vital. You came to us last year, I believe, and had a vision. Last year was a rather Spartan budget year as well, and we saw the value in this, the potential for a return on investment. You saw it, you executed it, and you're showing it to us in numbers, for which all of us numbers and budget folks really appreciate. I obviously can't foresee the future, but seeing the success, I will gladly be there with you through this budget process again this year, and I hope for continued success in this. Second chances are hard to come by in this world, and I had some conversations earlier today with some colleagues about sometimes you need to suffer a little bit to truly appreciate the opportunities we have, and you're giving these folks an opportunity to show that appreciation, and I am grateful. Thank you.
Senator Gossage.
I just want to do this.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I hopefully I will come back in the session, and I know I spoke to the Senate Judiciary Committee. I think, if nothing else, sharing information, getting more transparency about what we do and how we are a constituent service is very important, because our name is confusing, Kansas Legal Services. And we're trying to overcome just a lot of miscommunication about that we are a constituent resource. And in towns and counties where there are no attorneys, and those that are there are charging $200 or $250 an hour. And I could just give you one quick example. If you walk down the street and ask someone to do an expungement for you, even though you completely qualified, they would probably charge you $1,500. Yes, yes. In the area of student loans and the difficulty that new law graduates are having to get ahead, the prospect of someone doing like that for free is pretty much non-existent unless they're with KLS. So I appreciate very much the partnership that we have, and I look forward to continuing that in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you once again for that informative information and the vital work that you're doing.